Hey there, this is Apex, co-founder of Juice Gaming News, and in this video, I am interviewing Hantao, who is the co-founder of the Moku IP, to talk about their new AI sports fantasy platform starting this October 6th. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy the video. For those who are watching and don't know who you are, can you give like an intro on yourself and like what you're working on?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Hantao, co-founder of Moku. Previously, before Web3, I've done 10 years in traditional gaming, primarily on the back end, working with some of the top creators in Web2, featured on YouTube Rewind, Mr. Beast Rewind. Also in esports for 4 years as well, sold my own esports team. And then I came to crypto because one of my friends at Twitch, he was like, hey, you got to get into this thing called Axie. Everybody's making so much money on it. And then I was talking to different guild owners and leaders and met my co-founder, Bruce, who's running a guild at the time. Because when I was asking everybody for information, it sounded like a little bit worse than esports because there was a lot more financial things related to it. But when I dug in, it was like, I think crypto could actually solve a huge thing within games. And that's why I jumped in full time into crypto and did Moku. But since we started Moku, we were actually Guild back then. And then we built a lot of different products. So the first major one I would say is a distribution platform where we published all of the games on Ronin before permissionless. So we brought Pixels to market, Aperon. There was a lot of games that aren't here anymore as well in that list.
Right.
So we got a lot of experience doing that. And we also released a fair launch platform pre-open Ronin for that, and then now we're building Grand Arena.
You started, when did you guys start Moku?
We started in 2021, and when we were raising our first round for our company, which was not called Moku back then, it was called Quest. We were raising our first round. A lot of the VCs were like, how many game assets do you own? How many scholars do you have? And this was when like some of the space games reached out to me. They're like, hey, do you want to buy a starship for $100,000 to play our game? And I was like, what is going on in this space? Right. And for me, I already kind of saw how unsustainable it was and wanted to build something that was more distribution focused, creator focused. And so our first real shot at it was building the Ronin creator program, which is called the Axie creator program back then, because they didn't have Ronin yet, or wasn't fully launched yet. But so we've been building since then.
You guys have been working with Ronin super closely for a while now. And what year did you guys launch the Moki NFTs?
We launched it 1 year ago.
It was 1 year ago. It feels like a long time ago. So you guys launched the Mokis at 55 RON, and then it's like an 8K supply. And I think before this call, I actually checked, and it's sitting like at around 450 RON floor price, which is around 200 USD at the moment. And then the last 30-day volume is 100K. So it's trading super actively. So you've built like a pretty strong community behind the Moki NFTs. Like, what was the idea behind the NFT? Like, did you already have a plan or a vision before you actually launched it, or were you just kind of like, oh, we want to launch a PFP project and then we'll see where we go from there?
When we were called Quest back then, we were actually building a lot of data tools. So like tracking social media, share of voice for Twitter, YouTube. And when we built all these things, we realized that like, wow, we're doing a lot of stuff on the back end, but there's no way for anybody publicly to engage with us. And when we were building the distribution platform, we realized that like, hey, we should have a way to accrue value back to our brand, and it has to be a brand, right? Similar to how we see a lot of different kind of like animal PFPs out there are characters based on a tanuki. Tanukis are part of Japanese folklore with huge nut-sacks, and they shapeshift as well. So my co-founder, Bruce, he was the one that actually came up with the idea after watching, is it Pon Poko or something? It's like a old Japanese movie.
Okay.
And so we built it. We actually had the IP before we did the NFT collection. So we've been building trust when we did the distribution platform. And then we were like, hey, we should actually make a PFP collection so that people can own something and accrue value somehow being part of our ecosystem. So that's why we decided on the PFPs. And we did the first no loss raffle on Ronin, which got about $10.4 million of interest back then.
And you've been doing a really good job with it, because I think even before the PFP, you built like a really strong community with the platform. And you guys go above and beyond. Like I'm in the Moku Discord, and you guys are always doing like events. You did one recently, like how to get jobs in Web3. You did another one where like how to trade meme tokens and how to launch meme tokens and things like that. So you don't just like have a community where you're offering some kind of product and then hoping that people buy and then just kind of like riding the pump. You're doing good volume and you're doing well with the community, just kind of like talking to them and giving some sort of value back to them, aside from just, like I said, like selling. So fast forward to today, now you have like the Grand Arena thing going on, right? Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Because as far as I know, you have the fantasy, it's called a fantasy battler, with collectible card NFTs. Is that kind of right? Like what it's about?
Yeah. So basically, when we were publishing all these games, a lot of them even outside of Ronin, the thing that we realized was people in crypto are not your typical gamers, right? Like they came to crypto because they wanted to invest capital and make an outsized return. So when we looked at all the games, it's like traditional free-to-play games, AAA titles. We don't have $30 million to make a AAA shooter, right?
Right.
We also don't have an audience of people in Web3, in my opinion, who would just be like, oh, I really love this cozy game, and I'm going to spend $1 million playing this tower defense game, right? Because they want to speculate. And I think that speculation is what drove us to building out the daily fantasy side of this. So Grand Arena is essentially a daily fantasy stack for autonomous entertainment. And the second piece of it, which is autonomous entertainment, the reason why we're doing that is because when we look at this evolution of AI, it's accelerating really, really fast. And when we look at the acceleration for AI content, it's even faster. Like I am watching content of gorillas doing cocaine on TikTok.
I was just thinking about that. Yeah.
Right.
And you said
and
it,
it's
I was
like,
thinking about that.
It's getting so advanced, right? And people naturally are consumers. They're not producers. If people were producers, we would have creators everywhere, right? But people on TikTok and Instagram, YouTube Shorts, like they are the consumers of content. So what we wanted to do was bring those two together and utilize crypto to solve some of the problems that exist currently with daily fantasy.
Got it. And you're building all this on Ronin at the moment? Is that right?
Correct.
And why Ronin? Like, why not any other chains, right? Like, you have other chains that are doing really well that are more speculative, like type of audiences, versus I would say Ronin is more like your gaming audience. Like, how do you see that working out? Like, why did you pick Ronin? And do you like, and also do you see that bridging later on, right? Like expanding?
Yeah. So I think all ecosystems are kind of the same. Like I've trenched in abstract, I've trenched in AVAX. Like I'm a huge consumer of like DeFi as well, right? Like I use Black Hole consistently on AVAX, and even Base, like virtuals, right? I was huge on that. And when I did all these things, I think what I realized is like, hey, a lot of these chains have similar things, and they all have different types of strengths and weaknesses, right? Like AVAX is getting a lot of institutional adoption. Coinbase is getting a lot of institutional adoption. Abstract has all the degens on there, right? And when we look at all these chains, it's like all of them have different good things and different bad things, right? And when we evaluate all these things, it's like, hey, a lot of people on Ronin know who we are already and know what we do and trust us. So the pre-sale that we're going to do will be on Ronin, but Grand Arena itself will be able to take payments from different any chain, because I think in the future, like networks may not be as important as people think they are,
right?
Because it'll be the applications on those networks that are driving a lot of the traffic, right? Like nobody cares about where Fantasy Top is being built, or nobody cares. Like, do people even know what network Hyperliquid is on, or what technology they use? Are they using Orbit, or are they using the same code as Arbitrum, right? So I think it'll be app driven versus necessarily the chains. So I think all apps will eventually go across most chains.
Yeah, and I actually think Ronin made it to where you can buy NFTs with tokens from any chain, right? So that's a big advantage for you guys, right?
It is, but I think we still have to attract attention, right? I think a lot of the NFTs that people usually mention like Pudgies, Azukis, Punks, etc., are all on ETH mainnet. So we do have to get through that barrier. But at the end of the day, the network doesn't matter really that much.
That's fair.
You just have to have a good product.
Fair. That's very true. So what about for the packs, right? Because you guys have the booster packs coming in. What exactly are they for? And after that, I kind of want to touch in more into what the game is actually like from a user perspective, day to day, like what they're actually doing, what they're seeing, and what they're looking at.
Yeah. So in terms of the pack, we estimate about October 6th is when we'll start the pre-sale. It'll be, again, a no-loss raffle. What are the packs? Well, the packs are comprised of card packs. There'll be 30 card packs within that box. Each card pack will have about 5 cards, and you'll need these cards to play in the fantasy side, because traditional fantasy, you're just picking up a lineup and then you're running through a season with them and getting points. For Grand Arena, these contests are actually going to be daily and maybe weekly, but you'll have your lineup of cards, and these cards will have different rarities. Different rarities will give you, points bonuses. You can buy, sell cards as you wish, and they'll be based off of the Moku NFTs that are selected. And so these cards will get you points in the contest. You'll place on leaderboard and you'll get rewards. That's what the cards are for. So you don't need to own a Moku to play in the daily fantasy for Grand Arena.
Gotcha. And then you guys announced a $1 million prize pool for basically for launch, right? And how do you guys see that going after, right? Because a lot of games launch with big prize pools, and then it's hard for them to keep that momentum up in terms of dollar value. So how do you guys see that, or how do you see that going forward after this season?
Yeah, so the way that we built some of the flywheels in Grand Arena is there are fees in the network. So daily fantasy has a take rate usually, right?
Right.
So we have a take rate on the contests. We have network usage when people upgrade Mokis, pack sales, etc. So whenever people do certain actions within Grand Arena, we'll get a portion of the fees, and a portion of the fees will go towards the prize pool. So that season's prize pool will get bigger, but we'll also have additional liquidity to back up future seasons.
How do you get booster boxes in the future? Is this like a whitelist thing that you guys are doing? Do we need to join communities? Do they need to engage with Moku? How does somebody get into the action?
Yeah, no, I don't like all of those bullshit things when you got to do a mint. The only thing you need to do is just make sure you have some money bridged over, and you'll just be putting it into the raffle directly. So you can buy as many tickets as you want. So let's say there's 10,000 total supply for the boxes, right? If 10,000 people put raffle tickets, everyone will get a booster box. Depending, like if I put in 5, I'll get 5 booster boxes, right? But if we have 20,000 tickets, 50,000 tickets, 100,000 tickets that are purchased, then your probability will decrease.
Gotcha. Okay. And so this is like similar to the Ronin launchpad, basically.
We were actually the first ones to make a no-loss raffle on Ronin. So when we did the first Moku mint, that was through a no-loss raffle. And then this time, we're going to add a second chance shop that has a gacha and some shop items, so that if you lose, you can still spend on some of the other items that we have prepared for it.
Sweet.
But if you don't want to spend anything, if you lose, you'll get a full refund.
Gotcha. That's awesome, man. That's really good to hear. What about the, we actually put a press release on this on Juice Gaming News, and it mentioned something about royalties for Mokus, right? So you have the Moku NFTs. The booster pack itself will have characters that are based on, I'm not sure if it's like based on it or if it's exactly those Mokis. And then the holders get royalties based on how like well that card specifically performs. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So if you own a Moku NFT, your Moku will automatically play 24/7 in matches, and you'll earn rewards.
Nice.
That's full stop. If your Moku is upgraded and better, you'll earn more of the rewards. versus someone else who doesn't train their Moki ever.
Gotcha.
And then
Sweet.
we have about 176 slots for Mokis that are chosen as what we call champions. If you're chosen as a champion, then your Moki will be in the card pack itself. That's how you get points, right? So all 8,887 Mokis will play 24/7, and then the ones that are featured in the champion slots and the cards, those are the ones that'll get points for the daily fantasy layer. So you'll always have dynamic games. People will be upgrading their Mokis, and the card's value will change through time as well. And every time somebody purchases a card pack, or your card is sold on secondary, your Moki will get royalties.
Should somebody have a minimum amount of cards to participate? I mean, like how, not everybody can afford like 10, 10 booster packs or whatever. I don't know. Some people have different budgets. So what do you need to get to actually get started and play?
Yeah, sure. So the booster pack has 150 cards, right? Okay. Within it, you only need 6 cards to play.
Gotcha.
And booster packs are being sold for about $50 for 150 cards.
That's really good value.
You need 5 cards that are based on Mokis and 1 modifier card that will change how the points are scored. Like maybe you get more points if you have a certain fur color in your card lineup, or if they complete a different type of objective. So you only need 6 cards to enter into a contest. And the contest will maybe be like $1 entry, $5 entry, things like that. And there'll be different price points as well, so you can choose.
Gotcha. Well, how would somebody, is there anything else that you maybe like want to share in terms of what somebody should really know about the game, maybe that I haven't asked yet?
Yeah, so our intention is to make the game very simple. You can just get some cards, play in a contest, and try it out. We might have some free contests as well, so that you don't have any risk while playing. And the meat of it is, if you do want to go deep in this game, you can. There's a lot of stats. You need to understand like which Mokis are playing that day, which Mokis are doing well, which cards are undervalued, overvalued. So there's a whole ecosystem that we built in order to have somebody be able to go deep while also making it simple of like, oh, I'm just going to enter this. Throw a couple bucks. If I don't make money, at least I'll still get points to the end of season airdrop.
Gotcha. So you guys are making it really engaging because there's like all these different aspects that you can go into when you're deciding what to buy, right? If you're just getting into it, like what cards to buy, what's beneficial, what's not. Does the meta change, do you think, over time for something like this?
The meta will change every single day depending on how for example, if you have Mokis and you train your Moki and that's the Moki featured in the card, your Moki could do better tomorrow than it did yesterday because you chose to upgrade it. So that's why we wanted to make like a more dynamic system where there's some social pressure on both sides of like, hey, Apex, why are you not upgrading your Moki? I have your card and I want it to be worth more. So you should upgrade it. So my card's worth more. I get more points and I can win more money.
So I guess this might be a dumb question, but if you own a card that is with my Moki, can I upgrade for you if I wanted to? Is that
so? There's 2 sides, right? For the Moki, if you choose to upgrade it, my card will do better because your Moki can perform better.
Gotcha.
If I choose to upgrade my card, I'll get more point bonuses. There's rarities in Grand Arena. So if I have a common card, maybe I'll get 0% bonus. If I have the next level up, I'll have 5% or 10% bonus points.
Perfect. Gotcha, man. All right. Well, kind of want to wrap it up here, but is there anything else that maybe you want to share?
Yeah. Follow Moku_HQ on Twitter. And that's where we're going to post all the notifications.
All right. We'll make sure to drop the links in the description of the video and then also link to you guys. But thank you so much, man. I appreciate your time for letting me interview you.
Yeah. Appreciate yours.